Okay, so the next thing we're going to do to this table is we're going to add a total row to this table. And a total row provides a quick method to summarize and calculate the data that is on a table. So to do so, you have to click anywhere inside this table. It doesn't matter where. And you come up here under Table Tools, Design tab, and then you come over here and you click Total Row. And as you see that down here, by default, it puts a total in the last row of the table, which this is called a total row because by default, it puts the total of the last cell in here. And it's going to take all of these numbers and it's going to add them up. So in the seats available field, you're going to see a total of 1,088. Now, if you'll notice, there's an error right here, because you could click this arrow and you could change this from the sum, which you know the sum is another word for total, but you may also want to find the average of those cells. You may want to find a count, and to count just counts the number of entries that's in a column, whether it be, in this case, text or numbers. And then you could look for cells that have only a number in them. And we are familiar with max and min, the highest and lowest. And then standard deviation and variance, which is something we're not going to be doing in this class. But then the next thing you would want to do is you would want to come over here, and if you wanted to find the average, if you come over here to cell for a number of, this is the number of, let me scroll to the beginning because quite frankly I don't remember, number of days. So this is the number of days. So if you come over here, and you can find out what is the average number of days that our trips last. Well, you could come over here and click in this cell, and this arrow is available to you because, again, you added the total row, and in here you want to select average. And it tells you that the average days of one of our tours is 13.3 and some change. Well, the next thing you'd probably want to do is to round this number so that it has no decimals in it. So to do that, you would have to go back to the Home tab, and you could hit the Decrease Decimal button under the number group until all the decimals are gone. And then you'll simply see 13. The next thing I want to show you with this activity is what if you wanted to print this table out. Now, using the online version is actually, it's different than what I'm used to, and most of the steps that I would normally be showing you, we cannot show you. So what you want to do is, first of all, you want to click somewhere inside the table, and then using the online version, you go to File and then Print. And it says Print by showing a print-friendly view. Now, let me give you a little bit of advice on this. Because I have clicked already inside this table, this is going to default to Active Sheet. Okay? And then you also have an option of Entire Workbook, and then you also have an option for Current Selection. Now, as of right now, depending upon how this goes, we may have to go back and change the setting a little bit. 99% of the time, your paper size is going to be letter because that's the size of a standard piece of paper. Landscape, if your data is presented and it's more wide than it is tall, you would want to change it to landscape. This data is actually taller than it is wide, so I would leave it at portrait. And here where it says fit all columns on one page, this is what I would do, and I think by default yours says no scaling, meaning it would print out on paper pretty much the way you see it printed on your monitor. Now I actually want to click continue. Actually I want to click on this X instead. I want to close this out because what I want to do is, because this is the online version and we don't have all the options that I'm used to, I want to go back and I want to make current selection. I want to select every cell that's part of this notebook or the part of this activity. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to go, this is we got through column I-64. So I'm going to come up here in my name box, and because I've already clicked in cell I-64, I just want to add A1 and a colon in front of that. You could also click, hold, and drag, but I like showing you the name box. And then I hit enter, and then it selects this entire table. So then what you can do is you could go to File and Print. And essentially we're starting this over, but in this case you would want to go to your current selection, and we're going to leave paper size alone. And then we're going to leave portrait alone, and then the scaling, we want to change it so that all the columns fit on one page. Now actually I'm not going to do that just yet. I want to go ahead and click continue. I want to show you what it looks like. And it's going to print it first. It's going to open this up and gives you a print friendly view. And if I scroll down on this, you see how you can see the first 6 columns? But the last 3 columns are too wide and they will not fit. So those have to go on additional pieces of paper. Now, what you can do is I want to hit cancel and go back and to start this procedure over, because what we want to do is, at the very least, we want to make it so that all the text fits on the columns. All the columns fits on one piece of paper. So again, we still got current selection selected. We're still going to leave this at portrait and letter size, but we want to change the scaling so that all the columns fit on one page. And what that's going to do, it's going to make all the columns fit so that that does not take that information and force it to be on additional pages. So I want to click continue, and now look what happens when this opens up. It gives me the ability to print, and then you see that everything is on here. Now, by the way, you will notice that out here there's not enough space on here for all of the text that's in this last cell to print. So what you could do in order to try to fix this, you could go back to this document. By the way, it kind of looks like it's cut off here in column A for Green Adventures in Ecuador, I believe that is. You could try to go through and make these columns all fit to width so that you could see everything in there. You could also make some changes to this. And I'm not going to click print, but normally this is at the point where you would print it out. When you get to the point where you want to print it out, you click the print button. But what you can do is, see the text here, it's already wrapped here. And again, because we're using the online version of this, I'm not quite sure how much that we're going to be able to manipulate this. Maybe we can make this look a little bit better if we change our orientation to landscape. And let's just do that just to see how it affects it. So one more time, I want to go to File and Print. And again, with this one on the online version of Excel, you're really going to have to kind of play with it to see what works best when you print it out. Then I want to click continue. And let's see what it looks like here. And it might be on 3 pages. Actually, let's see. Let me click cancel. And again, I don't mind you seeing me going through this. Well, it's because I clicked off of that selection. And I told it to select just that, to print the selection. So again, let me put in an A colon. And it's through I-64, if I remember correctly. So now I got everything selected again, and then go through print, and then print, landscape. Okay, so let's see what it looks like now. And it might be on like 3 pages. And it still does the same thing. So it is on 3 pages, which is fine. But then you would have to go in and manually play with this to try to make this column a little bit wider. And again, it kind of looks like you're just not going to be able to do it. These columns are physically too wide in order to fit this on here using Excel Online. If you are using the desktop version of Excel, you can even go in and make your margins smaller, and you might be able to fit everything on there that way. But again, using the online version of Excel, you can't really do that. So again, you know, this particular part of the lesson, yeah, you see a couple of mistakes being made and it's not really a mistake, it's just learning through trial and error.